Hey guys, welcome back. I'm edcgunner, and today we're gonna talk about Omega Seamaster and why Omega Seamaster is the best option, the best choice of a watch of under $2,000. And in a true Doug DeMuro fashion, why this Omega is such a great watch, why it's such a great option. I will tell you in the later on this video, but these watches usually go on eBay as a used watch for around 1,500 US dollars. Bit more, bit less, depends if you're lucky. But I would just call it, why is this watch the best watch for under $2,000? First of all, in that price range, you get a lot of watches, but most of them are mid-tier watches, and this is an all-time classic. So without further ado, now I'm gonna switch perspectives, show you a bit of closer of the watch, and talk a bit more about it. So I'm just gonna wait out to here so you can look at it, and I'm not gonna fully traditionally review this watch because this is such a classic watch that it's been reviewed over and over and over times. It's been said it's a 41 millimeters in the diameter, has a sapphire slightly domed crystal, has a lovely case that grabs the wrist beautifully. But instead of that, I'm just gonna tell you, oh, and the bracelet is fantastic, but I'm just gonna tell you how good value for money is this watch. And I never really dig the watch in the first time, never really dig the bracelet because I think it's a bit too ornate for my taste. I'm kind of used to oyster bracelets, but once I got this watch, once I got it, the story changed. The story completely changed as it changes with so many different watches. But this watch in the price range, as I already mentioned, under $2,000, is all star. You get a classic Bond watch. You get a watch that's from a prestigious brand, and most of the watches in this price range, new or used, are not from the prestigious high-end luxury brands. And that's, if you want to, if you spend that kind of money, you want to get a little bit, at least a little bit, bang for your buck. At least I want to get at least a little bit bang for my buck. So because when I wear a watch, I want it to be something else. I want it to be something special, and it really is. This watch is all-time classic. Every Bond watch is a sort, league of its own, but just from the standard practical point, or just not be a brand snobs, forget about the Omega branding, forget about the James Bond, but how can you? How can you forget? Take a look at other watches for around under $2,000, new or used, and this watch, at the time of making this video, I took a quick glance through eBay, and these are around 1,500 bucks, and I think it's a steal. And this watch has, of course, for everything else, you have to decide that you want to die watch, that you like that watches, but it's so practical. This watch is watch that you can wear every day, and which I am doing ever since I got it. I've been wearing it every day. It has one of the best bracelets in the business. I don't know, I have a new Tudor Pelagos bracelet. It only has that micro adjustment on the clasp, and that's only that sets it apart. But other than that, new Rolex Oyster bracelets are comparable, and pretty much all the modern watches have the bracelets. But this bracelet, at first I thought it's a bit too ornate for me. I never really like it, but once it's on the wrist, it's the most comfortable bracelet out there, and I think this is the only bracelet that works for this watch. When I first got a watch, I needed a link, extra link, and I found a half link and it worked the trick. So I added an extra half link. This one has half links and does not have the clasp here place for micro adjustments, but it does have these half link, and also that's one of the drawbacks. But if you buy a new reissue of this version of this watch with a ceramic bezel, you get all that good stuff, and of course you lose some of the good stuff as well when you buy a new reissue. And one of those good stuff is, let me just try to find some light here, as this famous wave dial. And this wave dial is so cool, I love it. And that wave dial, take a look at this. This wave dial moves across and it's here, and the case back. And also that's one of the things on the newer version that I dislike. Well, actually, I do not dislike it, I just like this more. I think this is one of the nicest case backs I ever had, and I did have some good case backs. But yeah, and the bracelet, it's so comfortable, and it so works well with this watch that it's absolutely crazy. And how much I like this watch and the past couple of weeks I'm owning it is that I got the opportunity that buy my long-term grail watch, which is Rolex Submariner, and to make things easier, I could easily put this watch as a part of the deal and the dealer would take it. But I'm having a hard time. I know it's a smart thing. I know, I've done it before. That's how I trade. I deal and trade and hustle and whatnot. But with this watch, I know it's a smart thing to do. I will be much better financially stable. But I know I can live and on bread and butter, on bread and water, what you say, I can live on bread and water for a couple of months and have this on my wrist and be happy. And I think that's enough to say for me. Of course, speaking of moment and newer versions, new version Omega is actually a great option, a great choice if you like it, but this is kind of a bargain if you ask me. And speaking of moment, new version has a coaxial moment, and this is just a ETA modification modulation. That means it can be easily serviced by any watchmaker who's worth their salt, and in the world. Any watchmaker can easily service it. No nonsense, robust movement. I love these movements because recently I had a also ETA Breitling 7750. It dropped on me like from my hand, like it was at least a meter, and it dropped on the tiles, and it was such a hard noise. I thought that the axle is broken or something in the watch is wrong, but nothing. That's how good robust movement is, and it's pretty cool. This here is a helium escapement valve because this is a dive watch, a 300-meter water resistant, and that's one thing. If you want to just have one good watch, don't want to break the bank, but you want a watch that's really something that's gonna last you a long time, this is the watch. And also it was a James Bond watch for so many movies. Pierce Brosnan, of course, lots of other celebrities are wearing this watch. One of my favorite of them all is the Prince William. He wears it. It was a gift from his mother. Actually, the one he wears is a quartz version, and these do come in quartz versions. And the one he has is a 36 mils, and you can find those even cheaper on eBay. But at the end of the day, when you take a look at everything, and I saw on different flashlights. You just see that wave dial. This watch is such a great value that I decided it's not worth giving up in order to get a Rolex Submariner. I'm not saying it's better or whatnot. I will get that watch, but not at the expense of this one. And I think that should tell you a lot. And I'm just gonna give you a wrist shot. And this watch on the wrist feels so comfortable, feels so different. It's like none other watches you have. The bracelet is fantastic. The watch is not too thick. It's actually quite thin. It can slide under the cuff if that's your thing. You can go swimming with this. You can go on vacation. You can do everything. I went to the gym this morning with this watch. Just check my Instagram and you will find it there. And I think this is one fantastic watch with a fantastic bracelet, fantastic case, movement, brand prestige, James Bond, Prince William, and I don't know, the price is right. The price is awesome for these watches, and it's an all-time classic. It's an all-time classic, instant classic that will never get out of style, out of fashion. And the Omega Seamaster line is back in the history. It has a long line, even from I think from the 50s, and they are still producing these watches. And this watch is such a cool watch, recognizable. And there are watches that are nice. There are watches that are good. There are watches that are cool. But there are watches that have that second kind of cool. And to illustrate, one of those watches is a Seiko SKS. It may not be good and the best watch, but it has that second kind of cool. And the same case is with this one. This watch is second kind of cool. That kind of cool that makes you go out of your way to get it. That kind of cool that you only understand a couple of friends. And this watch looks so nice on the wrist that it's amazing. And I want to give you a little trick for the end. When you take this watch, when you have watch, whatever watch you're wearing now, and just hand it to the person next to you, assuming it's your friend and you know them, and put it on their wrist and step back a couple of meters away and take a look at the watch. I do that with lots of watches. I did it with this one, and when I saw it on the wrist of my friend and from across the table, I just fell in love. The watch looks so good, so much better than like this, and I knew I have to have it. So yeah, Omega Seamaster 300 Professional. Whether you get the new one with the ceramic bezel or whatnot, it's your preference, but I like this one. I think this one represents the sweet spot, an awesome bargain in watches that are good deals for under $2,000.